Thanks to our viewers for tuning into CSE Issuer Update Series. Today, I am talking to Mr. Jeremy Thomas. Jeremy is the founder and chairman of Goodbody Health Inc., trades on the CSE under the symbol GDBY. Jeremy, thank you so much for your time.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
Of course. Jeremy, let's talk a little bit about Goodbody Health. I know the company's had a little bit of a pivot. Why are you here?
I'm here because we've got a great business that is doing exciting things in the UK. We're listed in the CSE, but the messaging has been diluted because of the geographical divide between the two places. So I'm here to replicate some of our trading activities here in Canada. And yesterday we announced the opening of our first clinic here in Vancouver, but also to spread the messaging about Goodbody Health and what we're doing and how well we're doing in the UK and how we don't see that value being reflected in our current share price. And we need to make, we need to attend to that.
So the company's obviously had a little bit of a pivot. Why don't we start with what happened towards the end of 2021, and then you can talk to us about the company's recent news and recent accomplishments in 2022 and moving forward.
Sure. Okay. So we were a medicinal cannabis CBD business based out of the UK. We went into the pandemic. We're needing to raise funds. That was going to be more and more difficult as the system closed down going into the pandemic. I have contacts here in Vancouver. I have a property here. I have many friends here. And I was made aware of a company called Still Canna. Still Canna had been in our space, had not been successful, but had raised significant funds, and there was cash left in its account, and it felt right for us to merge the business. So we did a reverse takeover of Still Canna, which is why we're here on the CSE, and we did that under the name of Sativa Wellness Group. I was a shareholder. In fact, I'm the biggest shareholder, and I was unhappy with the direction of travel post that reverse takeover. So I stepped back in a year ago and I evaluated the situation and picked the bits of the business that I thought were going to be successful. And I did a big cost-saving exercise on the remainder of the business. So that was a year ago. We chose to focus on what we could do in the pandemic. So we started manufacturing hand sanitizer. We grew that business quite significantly. Most of our customers were restaurateurs. The government then closed all the restaurants. Had a problem. We had 2 retail CBD stores in the southwest of England, one in Bath, one in Bristol. We repurposed those as COVID testing clinics. Very quickly, they became very successful. So that was 2 clinics. Today, we have 170 clinics in the UK. We do an awful lot of COVID testing, but we recognized, and to put that into context, in Q2, we turned over 6 million Canadian dollars. In Q3, 9 million Canadian dollars. Q4 is going to be better than Q3. So we're doing a lot of business, and it's profitable business. We all hope that the pandemic will be behind us. So the next challenge, which we've been working on for a number of months now, is how to replace those revenues and maximize on the experience that we've had in setting up distribution. So we're moving the business into blood testing, blood and wellness testing. And we happen to be bang on message with our National Health Service in the UK, which wants to ease the pressure on GP surgeries and move blood and wellness testings out of the doctor surgeries and into the pharmacies, into local pharmacies. And those are the people that we partner with for our COVID testing. So we have a tremendous business model in play in the UK. We're going to replicate it here in Canada. We have a certain pathway taking us from COVID testing into blood and wellness testing. And we have the pandemic behind us that has raised the general public's appetite for knowing more about their health and living better. So Goodbody is a great story. The story hasn't really been presented in full to the Canadian and US markets. So I'm here to do that. We've taken steps to upgrade our listings on the OTC. I'm now working with you guys. And my job is to get the messaging out there, which is that we're very undervalued today. We have a lot of, during this pandemic, we've created a lot of cash. We're cash generative. Our treasury resources are 5 times what they were when I arrived at the company. We're in good shape, and I'm here to tell that message.
Excellent. Now, Jeremy, you talk about the health and wellness space. I know your tagline is "No more, live better." For viewers that might not be familiar, what is the big opportunity in this space? How big is it?
Well, we've calculated that to replicate the current revenues that we're generating, each of our partner clinics has to do 30 blood tests a month, which is completely realistic in terms of an initial target. The business for private blood testing pre-pandemic was a significant market in its own right. The pandemic has turbocharged the interest that we all have in our health. We've all got used to testing. We do all these lateral flow tests. We do all these tests for travel. And then the message now is, why not test? If you feel you're at risk for diabetes, why not find out? Let's do a blood test, a simple blood test to tell you where you are. If you're feeling tired, let's find out if your thyroid is functioning correctly. All these simple messages can be delivered in a marketing sense. And what we want to do is provide a very simple, cost-effective method of getting that job done. Once you have those results, you can then take them to your doctor, your existing doctor, or in our case, you can click on a button and go through to one of our doctors online. So we're trying to make this whole process as easy as possible and to empower you as an individual to do more about finding out about your health.
Excellent. Jeremy, I know you touched on this a little bit earlier, but there might be some viewers who are not familiar with yourself and your team. You want to maybe talk a little bit about your background as well as Mark, the CEO?
Yeah, so I'm a serial entrepreneur. That doesn't mean I'm into cornflakes. It means I've done lots of different businesses. I started in the mobile phone space in the UK. My uncle and I captured 10% of the UK market, which was a significant milestone at the time. We sold out for a lot of money. I, as a young man, then spent quite a lot of my money and decided I had to get back to work. I set up a telecoms business in the UK. We went through the AIM junior market and then onto the main listed market cap of £270 million. I then invested in a business with my brother. I didn't really understand what he was talking about, but he took £500,000 from me and then created a super successful business doing returns management and e-learning solutions. I then sort of retired too early, as it happened, came back from that experience, got involved in a guarantor lending business with this chap, Mark Howells. That was hugely successful. In 3.5 years, we became number 2 in that space. We sold it for £53 million. And I sold Mark Howells with the business. I've just got him back. He's now CEO of Goodbody Health in the UK. He's a hugely competent business manager. And really, I was there interfering with his program. So I thought the best use of my time would be to come out here and do exactly this, educate the investment community about what a great business we've created in Goodbody Health. And with Mark there in the UK, we're going to drive it forward. We're going to expand. We think that the blood and wellness testing market is huge. And we think that the developments in technology are going to move blood testing from distant laboratories much closer to the point of care. And that transformation will drive the overall market in terms of size, and it'll make it a lot easier for you and I to do simple, regular blood tests, either in pharmacy or at home. And that's where we want to be.
Jeremy, I know you touched on the focus in UK. You briefly touched on the Canadian focus as well. I saw a press release that you'd signed on with a medical clinic here locally in Vancouver as well. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, you have to start somewhere. And so we've identified and signed a lease on a premises here in Vancouver. It's in a medical building opposite the hospital. We're on the 7th floor. It's a perfect size for our first clinic. We're recruiting staff. We're going through all the regulatory process to open that clinic. But we will replicate what we're doing in the UK here in Canada. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm here and we have the ambition the wherewithal to make it happen. You don't do things in the same way here in Canada, but the underlying demand is there, and that's clear. And there's a dominant player here, Life Labs, who have, the majority of them, if not, they are the dominant player. But we intend to come here and provide a bit of competition.
Excellent. I appreciate you taking the time and talking to myself and our viewers a little bit about the pivot for Good Body Health, what the focus is. Now, Jeremy, before we end though, what can our viewers expect from you and your team coming up in 2022?
I think we will deliver this transition from COVID testing for travelers to blood testing, and that's our challenge. And we'll be measured on the number of clinics we have, because that's a big one. We have 170 in the UK. There are 4,000 independently owned pharmacies in the UK, and we want to get from 170 to 1,000. So that'll be a sort of monitor point for how well we're doing. And also we want to maintain revenues. And whilst I see a dip in revenues as the pandemic recedes, I see a steep climb in revenues as we roll out more and more of our blood tests. So that's what you'll see this year. But we're in a great position to do that because of the success we've had in the last financial year. Our cash resources are high. We know what we're going to do. We will just be executing.
Jeremy, I want to encourage our viewers to, obviously take a look at your website, find out more details on the progress of the company. Where can they go to keep up with you and your team?
Well, goodbodyhealth.com is the corporate website, and goodbodyclinics.com is the trading website that the majority of the customers use. So, all that information is available via your website as well as our own goodbodyhealth.com.
Perfect. Jeremy, I appreciate you taking the time to join myself and talk a little bit about the company. To our viewers, you've been listening to Mr. Jeremy Thomas. He's the founder and chairman of Good Body Health, Inc., trading on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the symbol GDBY. Jeremy, we look forward to having either yourself or Mark back on in the maybe at the next milestone or something, and providing our viewers with another update.
I'd like to do that. And let's talk again. Thank you for this opportunity.